battling with skin, how people were going around projects. That.
Do you want to give us an audio clap?
Shit. Audio sync.
Before the trip, Greg texted in the group that he'd torn his rotator cuff, and that obviously put one climber down out of the 4.
I was kind of locking off to go for a last move, and my foot popped, and I hit the heel of my hand on a hold coming down, and snapped my shoulder up like this.
It essentially looked like Greg wouldn't be climbing for the whole trip.
So exactly a week before we came away,
Luke and I going around Quiff together.
Murph decided to drop off.
He buckled a little bit to one side or the other. I don't know, whatever his excuse was. And he damaged his meniscus.
This kind of put a bit of a downer on the trip, really, the fact that Luke wasn't going to be able to climb and Greg was already injured, so we're 2 members of the party down now. And with 50% of your people gone, you lose a lot.
I'm gonna lose control. You're taking hold of me, torture. Everything a guy could have won if he wants torture. You're everything a guy could have won if he wants pain. Set fire to my soul, but I feel I'm gonna lose control. Torture, torture. Taking hold, taking hold, taking
The first week the weather was a little bit hit and miss. Every single day was forecast for rain and we were here and there going, right, well, can we climb, can't we climb, what do we do? And we ended up kind of sleeping in every morning because it was always raining in the morning and better conditions in the evening.
We kind of scrapped the weather report after a few days and thought we just need to be at the crag.
Often it would rain on a morning and we would have to wait until later in the day, driving around a lot, going to different places, trying to find dry rock. The one saving grace was that it was quite windy, and so things did dry out. Often things would dry out, within half an hour or less of a big rainstorm.
There they go, there they go, there they go.
You rockin' with that blue gang that came to shoot they cold. Taste the fools and use they votes. You stink so through folks close, you throw blows, leave a dude face broke, or make a fool race. Like Usain Bolt, the youth stay broke, but they won't shut up and yield. They're suffering for something that's real, getting shot in the field, shouting the names of lives that the government's killed. They fighting with picket signs while you shoving with shields. You circle around, search a turbulent crowd. You're allowed to murder a child, smoking the smell. Pow! Pound me till I'm purple and brown. Turn that shit round like the outcome of the
How does she look?
She looks in good nick. Gotta pull and find out, I guess.
Break the law cause you can, you got permission cause the system's in the palm of your hand. White shatter guys' marks, hype behind bad, just splatter guys' blood. The youth fights for that rice but can't fight slugs. To just
Sit and watch them all scatter like bugs. There they go.
everybody run, run, run.
There they go.
Everybody scatter, scatter.
There they go.
Everybody run, run, run.
There they go. There they go. There they go.
Your whole gang stage front and slaves youngest for sports. Spray slugs at a young boy starts handcuffing the corpse. Remorseless, not bother to face judges in court. The more you kill, the more you gain love and support. It's appalling, stealing people's lives and blood is pouring. The poor got a reason to rise, yet their bodies foreign. Officer, put down your gun and forfeit. Say fuck the force before you end up bucking your own brother for it. Don't blame the martyr, or play with karma. I pray to God your baby daughter gets caught up in some crazy drama and has to face your partners who raise the llama, aim revolvers at her face and start to spray shit on her. Pop, 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 right in your daughter's head. She pouring red legs, shaking on the corner dead. And when they take this to court, will you support the feds or get revenge and face your friends from the force instead? White shatter guys' marks, hype behind bad, just splatter guys' blood. The youth fights for that rice but can't fight slugs. You just
Sit and watch them all scatter like bugs. There they go.
everybody run, run, run.
There they go.
Everybody
Nice,
scatter,
Joe.
scatter.
There they go.
Everybody run, run, run.
There they go. There they go. There they go.
Watching Greg send his first 8A was pretty fucking cool.
So last year we came, and I think up until pretty much the end of the trip he really struggled to kind of get his head around Font and find his feet and start moving on the rock properly.
So I think I prepared much better than I did this time last year. Did a lot of fingerboarding, a lot of work on the board, very like structured stuff. Everything was timed and our rests were timed and weights were recorded and all that kind of stuff. Which is kind of the first time that I've done that, to be honest. I've always just kind of, you know, winged it.
So we go back for this second session on Le Paramon, and Greg's made good progress in the first session. Greg ends up like super high on the boulder, like got his new high point, and he's like hit this little crimp, udged it, like hit the top slope, swung his feet round.
It's supposed to kind of all be over once you latch this left-hand crimp. You get a good right hand finally over the top, and then you latch this left-hand crimp, and once you stick that, it should theoretically be over.
Come on, Greg. Come on. Come on. Right, right, right. Up, up. Right, right, right. Come on, mate.
Spots on.
Yes.
Solid.
Good.
Spots
Come on.
Come on, Greg. Come on. Spots on, Greg.
Run. Up.
Spots on.
Come on, mate.
Come on. Come on, Greg. Spots
Round
on.
again.
Spots on.
Yes. Come on.
Top one. Come on. Come on, Greg. Come on. Greg, get that top one. Greg, spots on. Spots on, mate. Come on, Greg. Come on. Come on, Greg.
Oh, my shoulder.
Literally hands on the top, and came down, landed on his bad shoulder. He thought he'd completely fucked it for the rest of the trip.
And 5 minutes later, sticks his shoes back on, says his shoulder feels kind of fucked, but he wants to do the boulder that bad, he just pulls back on again.
About an half an hour's rest, watched Joe a few more times, and then literally pulled on and sent it like he just wasn't even in any pain.
Left. Yes, come on, mate.
Spots on.
Come on! Up. Yes, mate, come on! Look at the toe, look at the toe. Good, come on! Right hand, mate, right hand! Yes! Go again! Like further! Yes! Yes! Yes, mate! Fucking brilliant!
Mate, what a boy.
Woo! Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo!
So there was talk from the start, from the first day, of shaving my head, and I was kind of on board. And then yeah, we just had one night, and I was just like, why not? Why not? So yeah, shaved all my hair off. But yeah, part of the deal was piercing Joe and Greg's ear.
Sick. I think you just keep them.
So you now got a fucking carrot pinned to it.
Now I'll just leave the fucking back the rest of the trip.
That's not even a mistake compared to this. I think I might have bent the earring.
Ah, you fucking little bitch!
Ow.
What the fuck?
What's going on, Joe?
Manly shit going on right here. Changing tyres.
What's the issue, Greg?
Got a fucking massive nail in my tyre.
Think she's on, lads. Let's get back on the road to the next boulder.
Skin is not fucking prime now.
Oh, dirty.
Again, come on, come on. Come on. Come on now. Come on. Come on, mate, we've got you. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Yes, mate. Yes. 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 Trying to climb boulders that are at your limit can be so frustrating because there are so many things that can go wrong and there are so many things that have to be perfect. And when you're training that hard for months in advance of a trip, then the likelihood of getting injured is pretty high as well. You have to be kind of pushing against that line of injury all the time to get the most out of yourself. And when you're injured, it's frustrating to try to climb hard things. And we struggled with injury a lot on this trip. Luke got very frustrated on Tristesse. We had 2 sessions on the boulder, one during the day and then we went back at night when conditions were better. It's a boulder that if he was healthy he would have done very quickly. But with his knee he couldn't do the kind of crux move on the boulder. He couldn't do this move that requires quite a high foot and then pressing really hard through your leg. And he got very frustrated that he couldn't figure a way around this move.
Why the fuck when that fucking foot just stayed? No! Fuck! Yeah, he's fine.
Come on, Luke.
Easy. Come on.
Come on, mate.
Oh.
But that's part of bouldering. When you're trying things that are at your limit, oftentimes you don't think you'll be able to do them. It's like Joe on opium. He tried the boulder a few years prior and he got shut down. He was nowhere near doing it. And we arrived on this trip and Joe still just believed that he wouldn't be able to do this boulder. And when you've been through those battles, when you think you can't do something and then you put the work in and you finally climb it, it's so satisfying.